Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome back to the Nighthold raid guide for normal and heroic. This time we'll be looking at Tichondrius. This boss is all about debuff management and ad management. In the first phase of the fight, players afflicted with Carrion Plague will want to congregate on one side of the room. We send ours to the left side of the room. This ticking debuff lasts for 40 seconds and makes you a target for Seeker Swarm. The swarm does nearly 1 million damage to all players in a line from the boss to the target with Carrion Plague. If you get hit by this ability and you don't already have Carrion Plague, it will spread to you, so never stand between the boss and a plagued player. Make sure to keep any players who have the Carrion Plague alive and well, as there's a bunch of raid-wide damage throughout the fight. Brandy Vargas is the next ability, which targets 2 random ranged. The brand is permanent and only broken when at least 5 people step into the circle. The brand will then explode, dealing damage depending on how far you are from the afflicted person. For this we had our brand stacked to the back right of the raid and stagger the 2 explosions. We had one group of players free of the Carrion Plague, ready to hop into the brands to dispel them as quickly as possible. Tichondrius also has the Vampiric Aura, which grants any allies within 30 yards 700% leech, which is very important for his next ability, Feast of Blood, which will target the tanks. The tank without Feast of Blood needs to take the boss, and the tank with the debuff has to run out to the ranged, because they spawn 3 bloods which will fixate and follow them. These bloods have a crazy leech effect while in the Vampiric Aura, so drag them out to your ranged DPS and have them nuke the bloods down ASAP. His last ability in this phase is Echoes of the Void. 4 Fell Spires will spawn around the room and Tichondrius will start channeling a huge Shadow Bolt barrage. You need to put a spire between you and the boss, but they only have so much health. You need to spread your raid out between each pillar so none of them break before the barrage ends. With our raid already split into Carrion Plagued and non-Carrion Plagued, this was relatively easy for us. If you get caught in the barrage or a Fell Spire breaks too early, there's a good chance you're going to die. When Tichondrius enters his second phase, he'll disappear and start casting Carrion Nightmare. This is basically Dreadlord's Guile from Blackrock Hold. He'll randomly appear and fire a huge green laser in a straight line. The laser does a lot of damage and stuns, so avoid it at all costs. The only other thing you need to worry about in this phase are the bats that spawn constantly. You want to nuke as many of these down as possible because whenever they die, they drop an Essence of Night. This essence increases all damage and healing by 30% for anyone who picks it up, as well as regenerating a crazy amount of mana. If your healers are ever struggling, you will want to prioritize giving them this buff. After Tichondrius exits his second phase, he will return to the first phase, except he will spawn some additional adds. The first time he leaves the second phase, he will spawn a Fellsworn Spellguard. Your tank will need to pick up this add and drag him away from Tichondrius so he doesn't benefit from the Vampiric Aura. Nuke him down as quickly as possible. They will gain a stacking movement speed buff over time and strike random targets with a powerful debuff called Volatile Wound. This increases the damage the target takes and it stacks, so it's important to get rid of this add quickly. When the debuff expires, it also leaves a void zone on the floor, so be careful of where you're placing it. After Tichondrius exits the second phase for a second time, he will also call a Sightless Watcher. This Watcher will target a random healer with a really nasty debuff called Burning Soul. It deals a huge amount of damage over time and drains their mana crazy fast, so they need to run out of the group and get a Dispel because when the debuff is removed, it also explodes for a large amount of damage. They also cast Ring of Shadows, which inflicts a lot of AoE damage to anyone within 10 to 20 yards of the target. These adds are just a huge pain, so they need to go ASAP. Make sure all of your DPS are focusing them down when they pop up. Make sure you're killing a lot of the bats in the second phase to get a bunch of Essence of Night buffs across your raid, and you should be golden. Just don't spread the plagues too much. That stuff is nasty. And that's all you should need to take down Tichondrius on normal and heroic. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Feel free to check out any of my other Nighthold guides when they become available. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.